Do you feel like there just isn't enough politics in board games? I mean, who doesn't, right? Well, you're in luck because the latest expansion to Eminent Domain called Oblivion delivers politics like never before. Hey, this is JT with G Club. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button so you can see more board game related content such as epic movie trailers, bad lip dubbings, and even interviews. In our reviews, we begin talking about the best moment of the game. Then we talk about whether or not we like it, get into the pros and cons, and even some comparisons. So, let's get into the best moment of Eminent Domain Oblivion. Convincing the other players around the table to revoke an agenda that's hurting you but helping someone else has got to be the best moment of Eminent Domain Oblivion. Now, Oblivion introduces a new action called Political Influence. This allows you to draw clout tokens that can be used for their symbols, which have politics symbols on one side, or a random symbol from the other roles like warfare on the other side. It also allows you to trade out resources for resources of a different type. Oblivion introduces a new role called Politics. Now, the Politics role allows you to be able to rally support from other players in order to be able to enact or to revoke agendas in order to be able to swing the rules into your favor. And, unlike in real-life politics, they get political clout in return for helping you out. So when you finally get everyone around the table convinced to nuke that agenda that's hurting you but helping someone else, that's when you know it's time to audition for that role in Parks and Recreation. So what about you? If you played Eminent Domain, let us know in the comments below. What do you think is the best moment of the game? So that was the best moment of the game, but did I like it? Yes, I really did like it. I think that it really loosens up the game from the base game. I thought the base game was really tight, which is not always a bad thing, but it really loosens up and gives you a little bit more options in the game. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get into what we call the balancing act, and that's where I talk about what I like and also balance it out with the negatives that I see in the game. Cloud tokens really loosen up the game by allowing players to be able to do different things like annex a planet instead of having to use warfare in order to be able to take it over. But it may also turn off players who really enjoy a tighter game and like to just focus on one or two strategies. Now, the agendas are also fun. I really enjoy how they interact with the game, and to be able to enact them and just going through all that process is a lot of fun. So for example, you could turn the tide in your favor by awarding you influence tokens for meeting a criteria. But negative agendas can be off-putting to certain crowds by making negative loops, like making colonize cost more. Prestige planets really add some pretty cool technologies, like activating one of the cheapest agendas. But on the other side though, there's this recon ability. And this recon ability, while nice in theory, really isn't worth going through a deck to put your favorite cards on top. Now, the other negative is that while there's a lot of flexibility in the game and you have the option to be able to rally people around and debate whether or not this agenda is going to be in your favor or try to convince other people it's in their best interest to do it, the negative around it is that it's going to lengthen the game. And so that time frame that you're used to, that maybe is 45 minutes in this game, probably is going to stand out longer than that, depending on how your group is in debating different topics. But the replacement boards for the cards is a nice addition and an added value to your game. Now, having played the Escalation expansion as well as the base game of Eminent Domain, I do have to say that I do prefer the Oblivion expansion over the Escalation expansion. Now, I haven't played the Exotica expansion, I think it's called, so I don't really have any kind of opinion on where that's going to rank in there, but I do really like the way that Oblivion loosens up the game. I really felt like Eminent Domain was good. I enjoy it, but it is kind of a tight game, and I always feel like I'm just kind of stuck in a rut as far as what direction I go in early is what I have to kind of stick with if I really want to have a chance at winning the game. And I feel like in Oblivion, I do have some more options, and I can react to different ways in which the game is flowing and how my opponents are actually pulling different combos off, and I can try to react to those things by enacting agendas or by using those clout tokens to help kind of fill in the gaps of areas in which I don't have in my deck. So, if you feel like the base game was a little too tight, then I'd highly recommend checking out Eminent Domain, Oblivion. And then we get the pros and cons and some comparisons, if I can even talk. That's when you know it's time to audition for that role in Parks and Recreations. There's no S. There's no S. Yeah, that's not working. If you played an Eminent Domain... But negative agendas just... Try this again.